Opportunities to gain a competitive advantage through sustainable business practices are more attainable than you think. Partners in Project Green is a growing community of businesses working together to green their bottom line. Through new forms of business-to-business collaboration, Partners in Project Green delivers programming that helps businesses reduce energy and resource costs, uncover new business opportunities, and address everyday operational challenges in a green and cost-effective manner. For more information on how we can help your sustainability journey, visit www.partnersinprojectgreen.com. Welcome to the People Power Challenge Water Conservation webinar. By participating in this webinar, you are demonstrating that you are up to the challenge and ready to take on water conservation projects at home and at work. Thank you for being a sustainability champion. Canadians are the second highest per capita water users globally, using 1,600 cubic meters per person per year. The population of Canada is 33.7 million. That's roughly 54 billion cubic meters, or 22 million Olympic-sized swimming pools, every single year. In the Canadian mindset, there exists a myth of abundant, clean, and accessible water. This is referred to as the myth of abundance, and comes from the fact that 20% of fresh water in all of the world's lakes is in Canadian lakes. So this seems like we have a lot. However, water in lakes is known as water stock and can be thought of as water capital that can be used only once. Water supply refers to the flow of renewable fresh water, specifically the amount of water that is replaced in 1 year through precipitation or aquifer discharge. The flows are like water interest or dividends that occur annually. Only 6.5% of the world's renewable water supply is in Canada, and 60% of that flows north to subarctic and Arctic regions. This leaves only 2.6% of the world's fresh water supply available to southern Canada, where the vast majority of the population lives. Along with the myth of abundance, we need to consider the rise in consumption. With population growth and business activity continuing to expand, more and more people and businesses need more and more water. The only way to supply this demand is to get smarter about how we use water. This webinar will briefly outline the business case for sustainable water use and go into some of the solutions you can employ at your company and in your home to protect this essential resource. As Canadian Business for Social Responsibility outlines in their report, The Business Case for an Integrated Approach to Water Management, the price paid by industry for water currently does not consider externalities such as the services and risk posed to ecosystems, as well as the costs associated with limited access to key regions. While it is often difficult to calculate the true financial value of risk avoidance, failure to address identified risk may result in business disruptions and undervaluation of operating costs. While water prices in Canada rose by 58% between 2002 and 2009, many believe that the price of water is still too low and will continue to increase in future. Cost increases are expected to come as the social and environmental externalities are factored into the price of water, and infrastructure costs must be factored in as well. As most developed countries have aging water infrastructure, significant investments are often required to maintain current service and water safety levels. Yet another factor driving up the cost of water is increasing water scarcity, which is happening even here in Canada in places like Alberta. Changes to the cost of water present a number of opportunities for leading companies. Cost savings due to reduced water use and wastewater discharge. Energy savings due to reduced water used for the pumping, treating, or heating of water, as well as reducing the greenhouse gas emissions associated with that energy use. Revenue through unused water rights, where no new permits are being issued and trading water rights is permitted. Water conservation and protection can limit risk exposure due to higher costs for water, as we just discussed, regulatory caps impacting access to water resources or more stringent measures on water discharges in response to flood, drought, or water quality issues, regulations relating to the impact of business activities on water availability and quality, pressure on this company's social license to operate due to conflicts with local communities and other large-scale water users, reductions in operational capacity due to production delays in areas where drought may occur, reduced consumer demand for water-intensive products and services due to increasing costs and growing awareness of water conservation issues, stormwater and sewer water overflow due to flooding, and climate change will make all of these risks even more intense. Reputations can be damaged or enhanced based on how companies are addressing water quality and availability issues. According to a 2009 GlobeScan International Public Survey, 89% of Canadians believe there is a growing freshwater crisis on the planet, and 84% of Canadians say that they are very concerned or somewhat concerned about the long-term supply and quality of Canada's fresh water. In addition, 65% of Canadians say large companies are responsible for ensuring clean water. This, coupled with the fact that industry is a large consumer of water and that public water access issues are increasingly contentious, and that accidental discharges or spills commonly occur in many industries, mean that companies should take steps to manage their water use effectively. Strong water management policies can improve community and political relationships, and that's good for business. Now that we understand the business case for water conservation, we will cover some of the measures companies can undertake to conserve water. When looking at water conservation measures in your facility, there are three main categories of activity. These, in the order of easiest to hardest to implement, are prevention, so finding areas and processes where you can completely eliminate water use; minimization, reducing the amount of water used in necessary activities and processes; and reuse and recycle, finding new uses for used water before sending it down the drain. The first level is prevention. If you don't use it, you don't have to pay for it, manage it, maintain it, or measure it. While this category includes simple, no-cost opportunities, it also depends on strong managerial commitment to implement and maintain the operational changes required. Strong company policy and top-level commitment to water reduction can help build water prevention practices into your organization. Some water prevention opportunities include creating a water policy that has an emphasis on prevention. This can support a culture of reduced water use. Conducting turn-off-the-tap campaigns with posters and communications reminding staff to eliminate water use where possible. Considering xeriscaping, a method of landscaping that eliminates or minimizes water use through planting native and drought-tolerant species. And examining your processes to determine if you can eliminate water use in your production lines. Water is necessary to life and health. Where it is not possible to eliminate water use, minimize it. This can be done through technical changes, although it is important to consider the human element as well. If behaviors don't change, you are missing out on a lot of reduction opportunities. Minimization efforts generally require a modest investment and typically result in 10 to 20% reduction in water. You can minimize water use by conducting indoor and outdoor water audits to identify site-specific opportunities for water reductions, putting sensors on taps, installing low-flow toilets and shower heads, conducting leak tests regularly and fixing the problems, installing water-efficient spray-rinse valves, examining manufacturing and production processes for water reduction opportunities, and changing behaviors to support all these technical changes. For the most part right now, precipitation falls on the ground either as rain or snow. In natural environments, most of this water returns to groundwater sources, but in urban environments, a much greater amount gets directed to storm sewers, picking up contaminants along the way. This poses great concerns for the availability of fresh, clean water, and also overlooks a great source that individuals and businesses alike can tap into for irrigation and non-potable needs. For example, Woodbine Entertainment has 5 stormwater ponds that collect rainwater, which is then used to irrigate their racetracks. These ponds reuse approximately 43.2 million liters of water annually. Since 2008, Woodbine has reduced water consumption at their facility by 30%, achieving a cost avoidance of $476,000. Reuse of water can also be used in production processes. For example, some companies are capturing the rinse water used in the last cycle on their lines to be used in the first rinse of the next cycle, and are finding other ways to reuse water. Lassonde Beverages Canada, for instance, introduced recirculation of water in plant processes and saves 7,100 cubic meters of water on an annual basis. Greywater systems are another option to recycle water. Greywater is defined as wastewater generated in buildings from sources like dishwashers, laundry machines, and toilets. This water is collected and treated and used for activities such as toilet flushing, laundry use, vehicle washing, and irrigation. Coca-Cola, who you will hear from directly in a moment, uses reverse osmosis to treat dirty water that used to go down the drain and is now reused in their operations. This type of innovative water use can significantly reduce a company's demand on the municipal water supply. While water reuse and recycle projects are more labor and resource intensive to implement, the savings are permanent and become part of standard operating procedures. To demonstrate water conservation in action and how it works for businesses on the ground, Coca-Cola will outline what they are doing at their organization.
We are a very locally focused company, so the vast majority of our products are manufactured in the country in which they're sold. We're Canada's largest juice drink company, as well as its largest iced tea maker, as well as in a traditional soft drink industry. Our company depends on water. Without water, we don't have a business. It takes water in which to make all our products, and that's why we've made our environmental commitments in terms of water stewardship where we operate.
Reducing water usage is more about culture at our operations throughout Canada, at least I can speak about. What we have is reducing water usage and being water efficient is not a one-man job. It's a team effort. Globally, Coca-Cola uses just under 43 billion liters of water annually.
What we've pledged is to become water neutral by 2020. And what that means is we're going to, in effect, offset the amount of water we use in our manufacturing and in the end product, so that we're creating a water neutrality. We're just in the last phase of finishing the assessment of every watershed in which we operate. So we operate in over 700 watersheds around the world. And what we've done is bring in external environmental consultants who have worked with local officials and local organizations to assess the health and the sustainability of that watershed. We can both assess our business risk, but more importantly, developed a plan in which to ensure the long-term sustainability.
In terms of reusing, whenever raw water comes in, we have this traditional filtration system. We call them primary filters. They need to get backwashed. That dirty water, which we used to put down the drain, we now treat it to meet our quality requirement using reverse osmosis process and utilize that water in our operation.
Last year we donated over 100 rain barrels. And what our rain barrels is many people don't know, but the syrup for Coca-Cola comes in a big plastic drum. These drums can be easily reused in rain barrels. So last year we gave over 100 rain barrels to the Toronto Region Conservation Authority so that they can work with the public and provide the public with a small effort to begin their journey on water stewardship.
We used to have water rinsers to to rinse our bottles and cans before we put our beverage in. We converted them from water rinsers to air rinsers now. So that has curtailed our water usage substantially. We used to have water-based lubrication system for our conveyors. We converted from that to dry lube. We now use silicone-based lubrication system, so that has substantially or almost reduced our water usage on that front. In terms of our water usage for cleaning our line to make sure that we continue to meet our product's quality, we have done some optimization in our cleaning operations to make sure that we continue to meet our quality requirement, as well as reduce the water and use the water only as much as is needed rather than overusing it.
Well, I think what companies are beginning to do is become much more aware of their surrounding and what's going on it, and whether it's water stewardship, whether it's climate change, or whatever footprint they make in terms of the environment, we're all starting to take a much greater awareness of it. And then once you've got awareness of it, once you've calculated your footprint, and then you can begin to figure out how best to address it.
There are a number of things each and every employee can do to help support effective water management practices. In addition to working towards the conservation strategies mentioned previously, you can join your green team, or start one if there isn't one already. Be a water champion by identifying site-specific issues and working to rectify them. Submit your water-reducing ideas to your green team, facilities department, or water champion. Share your knowledge about the environmental, social, and financial implications of water management with your friends and colleagues. And lead by example and make sure you are reducing your water consumption wherever possible. You can follow the prevent, minimize, and reuse recycle principles at home as well. To prevent water use, consider xeriscaping your yard to eliminate watering needs, turn off the tap when brushing your teeth and lathering your hands, and change behaviors to consume less. There are many simple things you can do to minimize your water use, such as install low-flow shower heads and toilets, put aerators on your taps, identify and repair leaky taps and toilets, and don't forget to check outside faucets and sprinklers, only run your dishwasher and clothes washer when full, use a broom instead of a hose to clean the driveway, collect the water you use for rinsing fruits and vegetables, then reuse it to water houseplants. Get these and many more tips by visiting www.waterusitwisely.com/100-ways-to-conserve. To reuse and recycle water, install a rain barrel to collect rainwater and water your garden and indoor plants. You may also want to investigate gray water recycling systems to reuse wastewater for non-potable activities. The Carbon Disclosure Project is working to catalyze the global movement towards sustainable corporate water management, one of the most significant challenges facing the global economy, through their Water Disclosure Initiative. Get great resources and knowledge at the website listed here. To learn about incentives that can help you offset the cost of water reduction projects, visit your local municipality's website. For City of Toronto, visit www.toronto.ca/watereff/index.htm, and for Region of Peel, visit WaterSmart Peel at www.watersmartpeel.ca. To learn about gray watering recycling basics, visit the website listed here or do a quick internet search. The Water Use It Wisely organization has great tips for both home and business. Check out their business tips at www.waterusitwisely.com/100-ways-to-conserve/business-tips/. Watch Tapped, a documentary about bottled water, and Flow for the Love of Water, a documentary about the privatization of water, for free at topdocumentaryfilms.com. For quite some time now, many businesses have been working to reduce their waste generation and energy use. Water gets a little forgotten because we don't pay very much for water, as all of the environmental and social costs are not accounted for, and because here in Canada there is a myth of abundant, easily accessible water. But water is integral to business, to health, and to life. We can live without electricity, but we can't get very far at all without water. Water limitations will become more severe if we don't rethink how we use our water resources. Luckily, most of the solutions are very simple. It just takes a little extra thought and a commitment to protect water sources. A small price to pay for clean and abundant water supplies.